Do you think it's possible for a bird to be a mass murderer? If your answer to this is no, then let me convince you otherwise. Okay guys, you will never believe what I have uncovered. Today I'm gonna prove to you why Laffitte is more important than you think. Yes, Laffitte. You guys might think, what kind of theory could Muff possibly pull out of his ass that is so great, especially considering the fact that it's about Laffitte. But I beg your pardon, kind viewer, this theory is gonna make your brain melt. Okay, where to begin? When was the first time we saw Laffitte? I think it was chapter 234, which title is Please Remember. By the way, very interesting title. Let's see why we want to remember something later on. The warlords and some higher marine authorities are meeting up at Marie-Joas to talk about the replacement for Sir Crocodile, who as we know got manhandled by our boy Luffy. And right after Doofy, Kuma and Mihawk enter the room, suddenly, a silhouette. A guy with a top hat sitting in the window asking to take part in the discussion. Furthermore, he actually already has someone in mind for the empty spot. Zoro actually knows the guy and refers to him as Laffitte. He was notorious for his brutality and was subsequently banished. Well, that's all cool and stuff, but what I actually wondered about was, how the heck did this guy enter Marie-Joas in the first place? Like seriously, he climbed up the wall without being seen, entered the area with all the guards and celestial dragons around, not to mention all the marines, and jumped into the window? Come on man, that's pretty much impossible. Maybe he did the Sabo and dressed up as a soldier or something like that. Possible, but maybe we don't have to think too much, because as we learn in a later chapter, Laffitte can fly. Chapter 543. Lots of stuff is going on. This arc is action packed, and amidst all the chaos, suddenly the Blackbeard pirates appear and among them Laffitte, with big white wings unfolded hovering in the air. This could of course explain how we got up to Marie-Joas, right? But still, something is off. I mean, a big guy with a top hat and huge white wings? Surely it's easy to see something like that in the sky. He would catch everyone's attention in an instant. Unless he flies up in the middle of the night. But that would make it hard for himself to navigate, so yeah, it's an option, but clearly not the best. Let's go a few chapters back now. Chapter 434. The Straws have just wrecked Annie's lobby and got a great new edition with while we see the Blackbeard pirates reading about their actions in the newspaper. Laffitte comments the events as following. Annie's lobby? It's famous for the sea train from Water 7. Now, how did he know that? Well, he says it's famous, so maybe it's just really famous and pretty much everyone knows about the sea train. But when our crew encountered it the first time, not a single one of them ever heard about it. So maybe it's not so famous after all, unless they have been there or in the region already. But what if Laffitte actually is there? In parts? What the f*** is this guy talking about? Well, let me cook. It will become clear towards the end. Chapter 575 and 576. The Blackbeard pirates suddenly appear on the battlefield in Marineford. Sengoku is asking them how they got there and Laffitte answering him that he hypnotized the guards and ordered them to let any warship that went near the gates of justice through, which actually helped Luffy and his followers as well. Alright, he can hypnotize, so maybe he's Django's brother or something, you never know. But we let that information sit on the side for a while. Chapter 595. Pizarro proposed to replace Teach as a leader, to which Laffitte answers, "Want me to kill you? Don't forget we are the Blackbeard pirates." I'm pretty sure he didn't say that jokingly. He would have killed Pizarro if he really meant what he said, but I guess he did let it slide. But why am I pointing this out? Surely not just to bring up each and every single one of Laffitte's appearances in the manga. No, it's something else. 2 times now we heard that he's a cold-hearted killer, once from Zoro and 1 time more or less from himself. He has no problem killing people, no matter who they are, for the sake of a bigger goal. Or does he simply enjoy killing people? Who else comes to mind? I don't know, nothing comes to mind right now. Chapter 803. We see Laffitte talking via snail to Burgess. He mentions that they went to Dressrosa to pick Burgess up but could not find him. He answers them that he snuck into the bilge of a ship and found the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. That's not important though, at least not for this video. But what is important is Laffitte, who's being introduced to us in this chapter as Demon Sheriff Laffitte, Emperor of the Sea, Blackbeard Pirates' 5th ship captain. And not only that, he's got a little addition to his usual outfit, a cape with feathered collar. This pretty much sums up all the things we know about Laffitte. But now, let's get to the interesting part. Laffitte is Hattori. I'm certain that the cute little pigeon that always comes with a sleek top hat and necktie is in truth Laffitte. We first see Hattori in chapter 323 sitting on Lucci's shoulder. Next time in chapter 327 actually talking to Tori, reminding him to not pay back debts with other people's money. And now it's getting interesting. Tori is getting mad at Lucci for smacking him with a hammer and calling him out for his bad manners and greed. Actually, it's Hattori saying this, but as we find out later, it's supposed to be ventriloquism. Now, Luffy in his usual baffled way is stating that the pigeon is talking. And after Lucci and Tori fought for a bit, Luffy is stating again that Tori is wrong for being mad at Lucci because the one who made fun of him was not Lucci but the pigeon. Tori answers that he doesn't care about that and that Lucci hit him, to which Luffy answers, the pigeon can't hit you. So he made the guy do it. He made the guy do it. Yes. And how do you make someone do something? Yes. Either by asking nicely, paying money, or putting a gun against his head, or with hypnosis. Well, now. It's getting ridiculous, Marv. You cannot be serious. But wait, there's more. Chapter 0. In Chapter 0, we see Rob Lucci training as a kid to become stronger than Justice, and now on his head is sitting Hattori. Yes, the same pigeon, a pigeon. Rob Lucci is supposed to be 30 years old after the time skip according to One Piece Wiki. How on earth is Hattori still alive? I mean, he could not possibly be the same pigeon, right? Unless... birds. Birds. Birds everywhere. You remember this guy? He said there are only 5 devil fruits that give you the power to fly. I'm pretty sure that we can say now that he was not informed right when it comes to that. Or he's a plain liar. But yes, devil fruits that make you fly. Let's be more specific. Devil fruits that enable you to become a bird. The new school. Ever wondered how Big News Morgens commands like thousands or more of these birds to deliver the newspaper? Well, think no more. What if part of his devil fruit is actually that he can create them to deliver his newspaper? But Marv, that is bullshit. There's no other devil fruit in One Piece similar to this which could be used as a reference. Or is there? Karasu. Yes, Karasu. The guy who literally can turn his body into a murder of crows. If that guy can do this, what stops Morgens from doing the same or similar things? There is another guy who ate the bird fruit and literally separated it into many pieces. But in the end he came back together. Jokes aside, you see what I'm getting at, right? Is it possible that Laffitte ate the Tori no Mi model pigeon? Is it possible that he literally turned into a pigeon and flew up to Marijoas to propose Blackbeard as a warlord? Is it possible that he searched for a promising trainee at the CP program already as a teenager to extract important information from the world government? I say yes. Hear me out. Laffitte, from the West Blue, known for being a mean mother and a cold-hearted killer, ate the Tori no Mi model pigeon. When Lucci as a kid was in training to become an agent, surely Laffitte himself wasn't much older, but at least 11 years older. If the ages that we know from the One Piece wikis are true. But considering that, he might have caught on the use of his food very early on and decided to either explore the world or perchance had an encounter with some agents or overheard something. Curious as he was, followed them and decided to stay close so that he could gather great intel. What if Lucci wasn't as cold-hearted as they always say? What if he's got hypnotized by his pet pigeon that stick to him from someday for some reason? What if this pigeon brainwashed him into being a cold-hearted killer machine? Yes. You never wondered why Lucci is like that? Someone who literally loves killing and bringing dark justice more than anything else? What kind of weirdo hobby is that? So, either Lucci hit his head real bad as a kid, or he got influenced by someone to be like that. But why? Why would Laffitte do that? Who knows? Maybe he has a big backstory and we are gonna learn about it in the future. Maybe he was at God Valley when the unspeakable happened. I'm going to tinfoil even more. What if he also influenced a young Blackbeard? What if he, while exploring restricted areas in bird form, found a laboratory and in it several test subjects? One ogre guy with horns, a Lunarian, and a weird unnerving looking kid that doesn't seem to sleep at all. Maybe he decided that this weird kid is a perfect vessel to execute his plans. Just like Booger Boy who made our little Doofy big. Where is Hattori now? This part contains spoiler from chapter 1062 to 1078. Lucci is arriving together with Hattori on Egghead Island. I'm gonna make this short here. Hattori is with Lucci until he gets taken down by Stussy in 1073. After this, he vanished. Where did he disappear to? Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm certain that he is Laffitte and left to inform Blackbeard about what is going on Egghead. Why am I assuming that? Well, I have not seen Laffitte and Blackbeard's in-laws fight, so he must be somewhere else. Yeah, sure, we haven't seen a lot of Blackbeard's new crew members in this fight, but the original ones are all there, all but Laffitte. That's kinda strange to me. Now let's assume I'm right and Laffitte is Hattori. This could explain quite a few things. Being with Lucci as a pigeon, he surely gets all the high-class intel, such as Marines deploying for Amazon Lily. Who appeared there right in time? Blackbeard. Big Mom heading out after Luffy to Wano and leaving Whole Cake more or less unguarded by taking a huge chunk of the crew with her. Intel that the world government had, and Blackbeard somehow. Also, how do you think that Blackbeard could take Kuzan to join his crew? How could he possibly know where he went to after the battle with Akainu? Enough of this. Things that we know for sure. Hard facts. Laffitte wears a top hat and cape with feathered collar. Hattori wears a top hat and a cape with a feathered collar. Laffitte can fly. Hattori can fly. Laffitte can hypnotize. Hattori can, if we believe what Luffy assumes, and hey, let's be honest, our boy is very lucky most of the times. Hattori can hypnotize. Laffitte is a cold-hearted killer. Lucci is a cold-hearted killer. Is there a devil fruit that can split you into several birds? Yes, one for sure. What if they are even related? Laffitte exploiting his younger brother. You don't believe me? Is this not enough to convince you? No? Well, let's pull out my paint skills. I can only guess what Laffitte's grand plan might be, but remember me when it turns out to be true.